Hey guys, welcome back to my channel again, Two Wheels and Croissant. It's been quite some time since the last video that I uploaded or have done anything to my social media. Pretty much being a bit lazy lately. However, I just completed a cycling event, and there are things that I thought if I shared it, it will be beneficial for you guys. So I sort of like thinking to make this video just for educational purposes to share my experience, because I think actually this event it's quite fun. Yeah, so for those who do not know, Amy's GRAN FONDO, essentially it is a close road event, very nice road cycling event down in Lorne, Geelong, where it is about 122k loop and about 1,900 meters elevation gain. So it's not like crazy, like difficult kind of like event, like the Three Peaks Challenge. It's kind of fun. And also this year, we've got the UCI Championship happening down there as well. All right, so for context, for those who do not know actually what the Amy's GRAN FONDO is, it is about 22 Ks, about 1,900 meters elevation gain. It's quite a fun event, close road, and you gotta enjoy the view because you started off actually here, which is in the Great Ocean Road, and then straight away a 10 kilometer kind of like a 5% climb, and then you go flats all the way flats for another 20k, and then another climb into forest around the odd ways, and then descending down here for around what 12 kilometers and 40 kilometers all the way back to Lorne, enjoying the great view of the Great Ocean Road. I'm gonna let you guys see the profile of the climb itself. Yeah, so it's pretty much like 5%, 5%, 5% for the first about 10.5 kilometers, and then you roll down quite a bit, and then flats for about 20Ks from here until here, about 50, and then you start climbing again, and another climb. Here there's a bit of a pinch here, it's a bit sketchy sometimes, and then when come down all the way here, averaging 50-60 kilometers per hour and rolling hills for the last 40k. Yeah, so that's the Amy's GRAN FONDO fully closed road. So it's kind of like a very special event for me, unlike other road cycling events. And yeah, so for today, I'm going to discuss basically two things. One is my preparation for this event itself, and also like the event itself, how it went. Last year time was about 4:52, but the overall actually event time was 5:17 because I cramped up. Yeah, reason being I cramped up because yeah, we can have a look at actually my training profile. Actually, it was really bad. If you check out like my last year's one, so that's 2024. But if you have a look at the 2023, the event happened essentially here, but it's actually more than 2 months. If you see actually my kilometers or my distance per week has been consistently more than 200 kilometers per week for pretty much like mid-March until like July. So it's about 4 months, very consistent, very fit. And then winter comes, and basically the weekly hours of riding, it just drops and close to none essentially. So I literally just started again here as because like my new bike at the time, my Canyon Aero came. Yeah, so I'm not sure if you guys can see my pointer, but at least you guys can see the blip of the bar chart itself, like here. Yeah, so around August, that's when my new bike came, the Canyon Aero. So that's why I decided to just like, okay, let's give it a try and join Amy's. So I registered to the event just about like a month before the event start. Poor fitness, no bike fit, and all the, worst thing you can imagine, like writing up a GRAN FONDO. So the target this year is to actually beat like, last year's timing, and hopefully didn't get cramped again. And then about 10 weeks, or I think about 12 weeks before the event itself, O2 Events kindly actually sent this training plan for us, for all the participants. And to be honest with you, I had never actually used any training plans in my cycling. Just literally casual ride with my friends. And yeah, so kind of like in a way, like my performance had plateaued a bit back then. So I was like, okay, this seems fun, so why not just try this training plan for the next 10 weeks? Because all what I did back then, having that indoor trainer for a year and a half, just literally just zone 2, because people keep on always saying zone 2 training will help you improve, but I had not improved at all. Yeah, for context, up until before this training starts, my FTP was around 240 and I weigh about 83 kilograms, so it's just about like slightly under 3 watts per kilogram. The training plan itself, it consists of like only 3 trainings per week, so it's pretty like, not saying it's easy, but for busy people working full-time, it's not that difficult to complete. Like hard rides usually happens on Monday and Wednesday, but usually it's only like a short 1 hour, like 50 minutes, 60 minutes, and then weekends it's for your zone 2 rides, like your long rides. It's not that difficult to complete, to be honest. And then as the week goes on, it gets more and more difficult, more and more you gotta put more effort, because that's actually when you are increasing your capacity, your zone 5, your zone 4, zone 3s and stuff like that, to build all this muscle endurance for the climb itself. And at the end of week 7, I did actually go up to Dandenongs with my friends to just basically, do a bit of an FTP test. Yeah, because in Melbourne, there's a segment called 1 in 20, in which actually people try to complete the segment within 20 minutes. It's kind of like similar to an FTP test, all out effort for 20 minutes. We did a warm-up ride, and then second one, we just push all out for 20 minutes. And I was quite actually surprised to see that my 20 minutes and 30 minutes max effort is about like 282 watts. And however, that number itself, it doesn't translate to like, my exact FTP. So I did a bit of research, and most people say like, oh, they have to calculate 0.9 out of that number, in which actually it came down to about 265 or something like that. Yeah, anyways, 7 weeks into the training, about 25 watts increase. It's like massive. It's really, I was very happy with myself that I committed to this training, and it gave me a good result. Yeah, so ever since then, even up until now, after the event, I basically still continue doing the training. I'm not like saying like a full structured training, but then I always fit in at least 1 or 2 interval trainings focusing on like VO2 max or like the zone 3s and stuff like that, as it has been very beneficial for me in increasing like my anaerobic capacity. So very happy with that. And coming down to the event week itself, of course, like this week is a bit different. Last year, I was riding with one of my friends. It was just 2 of us going crazy. I rode with a guy called Darren. Yep, so we did not actually have an exact, like goal of what we want to actually achieve. We just basically say, okay, let's, finish this event as fast as we can. And this is Darren. Yeah, and yeah, it was our first event for us both. And Darren did complete the 3 Peaks challenge like just earlier this year. So he's very young, very strong, and has improved a lot. And this year, we're riding with a different group, with kind of like, in a way, very competitive, this small group. Yeah, one of them, he's an Ironman finisher, and the rest of them, they are actually quite strong as well. Not saying like, pro strong, but in a way, at least they're stronger than me. Yeah. when we are discussing about the race strategy is that they say, oh, okay, let's try to hit sub 4. It's actually the first time for all of them, but obviously because they are a lot more stronger than us, so they were kind of in a way very optimistic that they want to try to hit sub 4. However, shaving down from 5:17 from last year's time to like 4 hours, it's kind of like in a way a bit how can I say, pessimistic for me. I'm not very optimistic that I can achieve sub 4. Considering, you know, like they say, okay, we're gonna push about 240 watts for the first climb. As you can see, actually the first climb is like 10K, 240 watts and stuff like that. So yeah, 240 watts. If I were pushing that watts, it's you know, it's okay, yeah. But the problem is the body weight of each and every one of us, it's completely different. The lightest of all of us is basically 65 kilos, and then and the next one 72, 73 and such. Yeah, so essentially even the heaviest of all of them, it's like at least 8 kilos lighter than me. Meaning when they actually push 240 watts, for me I have to push 285 or 290 even. Yeah, so when I did actually the 1 in 20, 280 watts, half an hour, I'm done. Yeah, so literally I just, I blew up after half an hour of 280 watts during the 1 in 20. So, okay, I'm sort of like thinking, yeah, maybe let's just try, see, you know, like, if I can basically still tag onto them, because they wanted to essentially do a bit of like rolling turns around the flat area here. Yeah, because you need to have teammates doing this flat area, because otherwise you'll be wasting a lot of energy. So their strategy was that they want to like roll turns around here so that we can conserve our energy for the second climb up here. Okay, so and that evening essentially it was a very windy day, so a lot of like noise and maybe just nervousness as well, and I couldn't sleep. Literally I was like half awake from around like 2:30 a.m. in the morning up until the event essentially. So very poor sleep. Yeah, I wish if the weather could have been a bit better. So last year the event was really wet, but not as much like crosswinds and wind gusts and stuff like that. But this year it's like it was a bit of shower, but then like the wind itself, it was extremely strong. I think the gust was up to like 45 to 50 km an hour and the certain parts of the event itself. Yeah, so it was crazy. Yeah, so on the event day, what happened was that actually we started off this climb. I'm just gonna show you the video. Yep, that's me, and that's the event day, a bit of snapshot here and there. That's Radit, so he's the Ironman finisher, this guy. Cranky face, please don't mind me, lack of sleep. This was the start of the first climb, still a lot of them, and you see the ones in red, and the guy in front of me, Andrew. Yeah, the one in red, those three guys, they are my friends. As you can see, actually they are a lot faster than me. And I forgot to mention, yeah, one biggest mistake that I've done is actually to get a bike fit just a week before the event, or you can say 2 weeks before the event. So I got my Cannondale Super 6 bike around like say end of May, but I did not get a chance to actually get the bike fit until like early October, which is the event is like mid-October. I should have actually done it much more earlier. Bike fits actually went all right, but the problem is that during the bike fit session, because I did it with Rider Fit with Stu, there was one point that actually, you know, like Stu adjusted my saddle height. I'm not saying that actually the his adjustment was incorrect. So it's like, okay, he said, okay, let's try this one. So I told him that, Stu, it feels like I was rocking a bit. So he decreased my saddle height by, I think, about 2 mil. This is the point where I got it all wrong. So basically, after the bike fit, everything went okay. But as what people say, curiosity kills. So a week basically after that bike fit, means actually like it's literally just 1 week before the event, I increased the saddle height by just 2 mils. Yeah, by just 2 meals. Just out of a curiosity, what the initial recommendation of stew feels like, which actually I should have listened to my body instead of listening to my curiosity of my stupidity. Yeah, so it was totally my fault. And I sort of like raised the saddle height by just 2 meals a week before the event. I did not do any long rides, just 2 short rides on a trainer, which felt all right, but you never know when it comes to like, big events and stuff like that. So you see the power here is already 280 and like my heart rate is already in the red zone as like 168 or something like that. Yeah. So that's when everything went wrong. Like first thing went wrong is like I adjusted my seat. Second thing is that I pushed myself too hard. So 280 watts. I finished the first climb, the 10-kilometer climb, I think about like 34 minutes. And after that, I blew up. Yeah. So that's already the first downfall of the whole event itself. So now you see here, there's a flat section, yeah, around Dean Marsh area, around the flat section. My friends already left me, so I was kind of like in a way alone in for the stretch of like about 20 kilometers. Did not plan to stop during at the Dean Marsh aid station. The problem is plenty of like cross headwind in that area because of the severe weather. Plenty of cross headwind. You cannot imagine how strong it will be at that day. Of the first climb, essentially, I was behind this gentleman and his partner, I suppose. But I took over them, I believe, because they were pacing her. Yeah, so I was like, okay, let's just push past her. But I should have actually stuck with them because I could get a group to drive through the flat section. Yeah, so this is basically after the first hill, and then everyone's just trying to push it, and everyone's getting further and further away. We split into like tiny little groups, and I was just trying to basically ride beside somebody or behind somebody and try to roll turns. But the problem is, you see after this section, literally there was no one to tag along with. Yeah. It was very, very windy. As you can see, my hands were shaking, my bikes was shaking, my front wheel was very, very twitchy, and yeah, it wasn't actually the nicest, like experience to ride in a very, very strong crosswind. Yep. The problem is, during this section, the flat section, I didn't realize, there are a lot of bigger riders. However, they did not actually want it to ride in the wind. So all of them, they just tagged behind me. So as you can see, all of them just, when I slow down, that's the time where eventually they started to just pass by me and try to catch another train in front of me. Cheeky people. Yeah, so I'm still pushing about like, 260, 270. I sort of like flicked my arm. Nobody wanted to pull. Literally, these people, this guy, that guy, nobody wanted to pull. Yeah, and then when I actually started to ride in front of them again, because they're trying to drop back, and then again, they're just sitting behind my wheel. All this section, literally, they're all just sitting my wheel, just behind my wheel. Nobody wants to pull. Yeah, and then when I slow down, when I get tired, then essentially one by one, they just took over. See, same people, the blue, the guy in blue, the guy in the gray, and then the guy in this, the yellow guy. All of these dudes, oh my god, like literally none of them they want to try to pull. So basically after I blew up myself, now it's my turn to try to sit behind them. But at this point of time, I started to get back pain because of the bike fit. So yeah, just going to explain to you, I've got basically a history of lower back pain. So for those actually who have a history of lower back pain, you will know actually how it feels like when your vertebrae disc essentially got compressed. Yeah, reason being is because I increased my saddle height for a bit, so my kind of like spine that's supposed to be like flat during the ride, it becomes curved. So the end part of it is sort of like compressed all together and squeeze the spinal disc itself, and it has caused a lot of pain and also numbness as well towards my right leg especially. And that essentially didn't allow me to push over a certain wattage. I literally just couldn't ride over like 220, 210, 220 watts ever since this started to happen during the event. So yeah, sorry for yapping for a bit, like trying to become a doctor. And luckily, this guy in green, actually, he showed up. He was very kind to ask me if I want to roll turns after all these dudes in the front and back, just trying to sit behind our wheels. And we just did a very, very easy pace, about like 180, 190, 200 watts. And I was just chilling behind, him after literally like, I don't know, 30Ks, pushing about like over 240 something watts. Not very nice experience with the back pain there. Unfortunately, literally right after, like this section, something else happened. My legs were actually overextending to the point that actually this sartorius, which is like part of the hamstring itself, at the inner side of my legs, both left and right leg sartorius, essentially cramped up. Yeah, it started to pull. They started to pull. And it was so painful to the point that actually I had to keep on spraying cramp fix and sit at the nose of the saddle pretty much the rest of the ride itself, because it was pulling so bad during the climbs, and even I couldn't really pedal properly. Yeah, so it wasn't actually ideal. I should have actually first not pushed myself too hard in the very first climb, trying to chase my friends. Second, biggest mistake is to adjust my bike fit just a week before the event because of my stupid curiosity. Yeah. So eventually after this, what happened is that now you see this guy. Yeah. So that guy in blue, he was from here. Yeah, this guy here. So in the beginning, so he was the one who was pacing his girlfriend, and you see how many people was trying to sit behind him, and then that's his partner there. And yeah, everyone's going there. So I was trying to tag behind him, because at this time, that's my friend there in the pink. At that time, I literally had no more strength to keep on like pushing myself. So I just paced behind that guy for the rest of the climb until the descent. So in terms of nutrition wise, last year I did not actually have any nutrition plan. So I just had like what? I think, the cliff blocks, like these little gummies, in which actually that one whole block was like what, 45 grams of carbs, and I took four bars of them. So it's like what, 45 4 bars, only about like 180, and plus I didn't have a carbs water at the time, plus donuts and bananas here and there. So I think maybe about like only about 220 grams of carbs over the period of that 5-hour ride. But for this one, I did plan out actually all of my carbs. So I had like six beta fuel, which is like 40 grams of carb each. So that's 240 grams of carbs, and then 2 normal SIS gels, which is like about 45 grams of carbs. That's 280 grams in total, plus a very, very concentrated carbs water, which is a mix of dextrose monohydrate and also maltodextrin. That's 160 grams of carbs in one bottle. So that's in total, it's like what, 440 grams of carbs over the period of like nearly 5 hours. So it's like about 80 grams of carbs each hour. So I did not actually feel fatigue, like overly fatigued for the course of the period of the ride itself. It's just that back pain was the thing that actually hindered me. So despite pushing a lot harder, I did not feel overly fatigued like last year. So that's my nutrition plan for this ride. And yeah, so that's pretty much actually the fun or not so fun part about the event itself. Great training, nutrition's okay. So I had like about 6 SIS beta fuel gels, which actually I exceeded my carb intake for the hours, and also extra carbs water as well, extra 2 normal SIS gels. No issues with the carbs intake, but poor bike fit. Yeah, poor bike fit is to blame for you know, the event itself. I wish if actually I could have do better in terms of this event itself if I had not adjusted my bike fit. But yeah, that's a lesson to learn. Do your training properly, do a structured training. Don't push yourself too hard, just pace myself. I think if I pace myself at 220, 240 from the start, I could have actually, you know, like decreased the likelihood for me to get cramped or the back pain for the rest of the ride. 3, do not adjust the bike fit weeks before your ride. Just stay with the position that you're comfortable with. And lastly, I guess like this is also a big part of me to blame as well, is I need to lose weight. Yeah. Imagine if basically I lost like 5 kilos, just like 5 kilos. I'm pretty sure that, you know, like I could have actually paced myself better together with my friends. But sitting at 82 kilos is actually not the easiest, you know, to climb, because you have to push much more power compared to other people. So now I'm basically on my journey to lose some weight, hopefully to get down to like about 75 or even slightly less than that, 73, 74 kilos, just to ease up on the climbs itself. Flats, no problem, but when it comes to like you know, long distance climbing, like that first 10k climb and the second 7k climb, that's actually what causes big problems when you have a lot heavier body and you know, not strong muscles like me. Yeah, so that's my experience for Amy's GRAN FONDO 2025. And good thing that I would like to share, you know, regardless of the poor experience and the pain and such in the event, I managed to shave about half an hour of the moving time. So I finished around 4 hours and 52 minutes from the previous 5 hours and 17 minutes. Yeah, about like half an hour, just about half an hour faster, and the moving time was about 4 hours 39 minutes, despite I stopped in every single aid station literally after the first one. So second aid station, third aid station, fourth aid station, just to ease up my back and also my hamstring as well, to get me to the finish line. Yeah, it was helpful, and I was kind of like in a way upset to myself about myself, but also I'm in a way quite happy with the result that I managed to shave quite a significant time, in hoping that next year, if I were to push for the ride again, the next Amy's GRAN FONDO, I can do a lot better. Yeah, so I guess that's it for this video, and I do hope that for those of you who have not actually joined this Amy's GRAN FONDO, this video can be beneficial for you as a guide to do your next Amy's GRAN FONDO or your first Amy's GRAN FONDO for a good result with, you know, no pain and all the stuff. Yeah, so good luck.